Hey dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with another fabulous chinwag, and returning, she's the second chinwag I've ever done. It is Elaina Glam, aka Lada Deluxe, aka that queen from Painted with Raven. How are you, Elaina?
Hey, Wilma, I'm good. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Now, since our last talk, you have moved twice. You've had some uh, experience being a celebrity yourself. You've hobnobbed with your, um, uh, I want to say, influences, drag queens, and you went to New York for a secret trip. So we're going to talk about all of that. The first thing I want to say is congratulations for Painted with Raven.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that was a
I was
huge
so excited that you were on, and I was so thrilled you won that first challenge because I thought that set the right tone.
thank you. I felt like it too at the moment.
I will also admit, the minute that you weren't on it anymore competing, I stopped watching.
Oh,
I just wasn't interested in anyone else on the show but you.
oh, shade. I need a
Yeah,
shade right now.
there it is, right there. Woo, she done. I have to say, there were just some very annoying people on the show. And I think for me, I've reached a point in my 57 years on this planet where I just don't want to hear people whine anymore. And I felt there were a lot of whiners on Painted with Raven, but you definitely were not one of them. I thought, were funny. You were fun to watch. Your looks were great. But what was even better was watching you on YouTube, where you would do a redemption for yourself after the challenge. Regardless of how you did in the challenge,
Yeah.
you would reapproach the look. What made you decide to do that?
Well, first of all, like going to the show, I wanted to win and do well, of course. And the first episode, we were all so nervous. Like literally, I spoke with everybody else, and everybody almost like was sweating like before the first, like before we met each other because I was so nervous. And after I won the first look, I was like, yes, this is a good start. So I felt confident. And then I won the next episode. Oh, then the episode, yeah, the second episode. And I felt even more confident. I'm thinking, and then I got nervous. I'm like, after this, there's only one way. One way is down. It was almost like a self fulfilling prophecy. I felt nervous and I kind of like had a bad idea. I went, "Ooh." So since then, I kind of lost confidence, and it's like it wasn't all that great after that. And I felt like I wanted to create better looks on my YouTube, at least on Instagram, on YouTube, repost those looks a little better when I'm not nervous, I'm not sleep deprived. And even the ones that I did well, I still wanted to do them better because it's just my personal preference. Like I just wanted to do the extra look.
Well, I know one of the things that your inner circle of fans, your the bunch of us on YouTube that all kind of kibitz together, uh, we knew how much time you would take sometimes for your makeup. So even you were a little nervous at the restricted time, like you only have this much time to create a face. And that was the only thing that I thought was worrisome for me, knowing you going on the show, because I thought that might psych you out. But how did you find the time frame for putting on makeup?
Actually, surprisingly, when they told us that we get 3 hours, 45 minutes, it was a huge relief because my YouTube lives are kind of been like trying to make myself move faster before the show. And I've been actually going a little faster. And when they said 3 hours, 45 minutes, I was like, phew. Because I know the drag race they give you last time. And I was wondering, what if they only give us like an hour and a half? I would never. But they said, I'm like, I can do it. If I really rush through it and if I'm not talking, because when I do YouTube lives, they talk to people and I get very distracted when I talk. And they would leave us alone for like 3 hours, 45 minutes. We just sit on Zoom and this will be all recorded. And once in a while, the producer would pop in. I'm like, what is she doing there? What is she doing? I'm like, Val, why are you here? She's like, oh, no, no, don't worry. I'm just looking. I'll be like worried. What's going on? And then Raven would come in once to ask questions, and then they would leave us alone for the rest of the time. So that wasn't bad.
What was the timeline like for you? You submitted for the competition for the show. When did you submit?
It's hard to remember now. I think I submitted like mid-February last year, and I found out I got first call somewhere in March, so it was pretty quick when I
That's
got,
quick, yeah.
because I submitted like by the end of the deadline almost, and I got a response like in a few weeks, and I was live on YouTube actually on my usual day on Monday. And when you're live on your phone, you receive the phone call. Sometimes it breaks the live. And I saw the phone call. And I'm like, swipe, swipe. I'm like,
Oh no.
and when I listened to the voicemail, I'm like, oh my God. And actually, producer called me back as I was listening to the voicemail, and he said, "Are you on the show?" But he's like, "Don't get too excited. It's just the first step." Because they had
Right.
to like, check your background, check your social media. I guess
Yeah, they want to make sure you're not crazy.
exactly, yeah. So that took like a few more weeks, and then they kept like us in the dark, like it's not it. That's not it yet. But I kind of felt like it was it already. I had a good feeling about it,
Yeah.
and then they official announced it. I was like, oh,
So you started filming the show in April.
yes.
Now they had to send you stuff, right? What did they send you?
So yeah, somewhere like in the beginning of the April, we started to get the boxes. So we got the monitor to actually see each other, and then Zoom, like a big Mac computer monitor, because we got to be able to see on a big screen what we're doing. And we all got like a bunch of cell phones, a couple of cell phones to store the videos, because it's all filmed on cell phone, on the iPhone. I know, I
It's
was
not.
surprised. It is filmed on iPhone, and it was a good quality. Those iPhones have good cameras, because when you watch it on TV, it looks like a regular camera, but it's actually iPhone. And we had
Wow.
it,
Well, they want
here's
them
a
all
Zoom.
to look the same, obviously. You all
Yeah,
have to look the same, so you need the same equipment. I mean, I
yeah. We
knew
had
that you were sent
tests.
stuff.
We had all tests like we would get all together. They would test us to see how the lights are, and a lot of us we were sent extra lights because it
Yeah.
wasn't bright enough, or the background was always, mine was always wrinkled. I hate ironing. Like, Elaina, your background looks bad, iron. I'm like,
But if my
because
makeup's gorgeous, they won't see the background.
yeah, right. Actually, it's like it stands out like a sore thumb if it's not like it's wrinkled. It was very bad.
That's the kind of thing I notice, but I work in films, so like it's different. I know, like I look at it from from a production side, not
Mhm.
of just a viewer
Yeah.
side. It's amazing to me a lot of the stuff that goes unnoticed until it's noticed. So did you film, how long did it take you to, did you film it all in a solid like every day, or did you have like one day on, one day off? How did it go?
Yeah, we had a few days off. I was wondering how it's gonna be, because most of the guys are on the East Coast, and there is only me and Nicky Nick. He was on in San Francisco, and of course the production team is here. Everybody's here, and the rest of the kids that got to sleep in, and me, the old people. I didn't get any sleep because I had to get ready and makeup by 9 a.m. Like they would start filming 9 a.m.
That's not
So the
bad. It could have been 6 a.m.
yeah, yeah, but you have to like get up early to put all that makeup, and you want to look good. And the first
Yeah.
look was important, like your introduction. So I got up like at 4 something a.m. So I have like at least 3 hours to face paint and make sure everything is perfect and have something to eat too.
Yeah.
And
Have you
yeah,
been to the washroom? Yeah, all of that.
yeah, so I needed to make sure that everything correct. That's why I got up early. But the East Coast, 3 hours ahead, of course, they had an advantage. So that was the first day. And the second day, I think it was back to back. And then they would give us like a couple of days for interviews. So on the interviews, you would only have to show up for your own time slot. Everybody would get their own time slot and their own producer. So it would be like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Some of us take quicker, some longer. Mine interviews were always short. For some reason, my producer would go bam, bam, bam through all the questions because I'm not a drama queen, and would answer quickly and get over with it. And the other kids would compare notes and like, oh my God, my interviews were like 3, 4 hours. And I was crying. I'm like, crying for what?
Were you the oldest competitor?
Yes, I'm
Yeah. See,
47.
I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, they're very young, they're emotional, so they take everything more personally. And I spend a lot of time calming them down behind the scenes. So they actually call me like a mom of the season. I'm like, I'm a mom of two cats. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I just felt like I felt sorry for them in a way because they're always like, oh my God, this is that. I'm like, it's just a TV show. It's just now, and that's it. It's just pure entertainment. It's not the level of your skills that matters. It's just
Yeah.
pure entertainment, like calm down.
Well, I really enjoyed you on it. I love the looks you did, but I've followed you for a while now, like a few years, and I've just the one thing I wish that you weren't silenced for was the look-alike
Yeah.
transformation, because you've done a few. Your Mariah Carey is ridiculous because you couldn't have a more different face than Mariah Carey.
Hmm.
You know, yours is very pointy and narrow, and hers is very round and full. And I mean, that transformation, just every time I see you do it, just amazes me. But you've also done Raven's face. You've done a lot of drag queens where I thought you were the drag queen. When I saw the thumbnail on YouTube, it was like, oh, they don't normally. Oh, it's Elaina.
Thank you. I enjoy this the most. This is actually my favorite, to put somebody's face on your own face. Because like
Yeah.
I mentioned before in the show, I think my dad was an architect, and also he was an artist. So he liked to paint nature. So I still have a lot of his paintings. And for me, it's more faces. So like I always take it as a painting, like painting something on your face that's not you.
Yeah.
That's why I like to paint stars and things, like not makeup on my face as well, because it just fascinates me as well.
Yeah. Your Van Gogh Starry Night, like that comes to mind right away because I was impressed. That was because you weren't just painting something on your face, you were recreating a brush style and an application. Like that's incredible. And the thing people forget is you're not doing it looking, you're doing it on your face. So you're now looking at it in a mirror and everything's backwards. It's impressive. It's an impressive skill. I know for me, I'm just happy that I don't look like I've been pulled backwards through a fence anymore. That's all. I don't care. If I
Well, you
can't
look
do
fabulous.
what was your worst challenge to do on Painted with Raven?
Probably the one I was muted for. For
Uh
some reason, when you say glam rock, I was not inspired at all. It just did not
no.
ring the. I'm more of like a pink and girly and like a shine and stuff like that. But the rock
Well,
is
I
not
thought it
me.
was funny that that one woman said, "Oh, I didn't want to go that typical route of blonde," and she explained what the blonde girl had done exactly as a read. And I was like, "Oh, it's a good thing they're all on TVs. Like if they were all in the room, there would be some eye cutting going on."
This is so funny because behind the scenes we got along so well, and we
Yeah,
encouraged each other, and we like cried on each other's shoulders or whatever they felt like. So I didn't feel any of that. And then behind the interviews, I was just wondering if those kind of things that pulled out of them by the interviewers, just to get something
but
interesting going on.
I have to say, there's also a level when you're talking one on one with somebody, even though you realize I'm on camera. There's still a level of, well, I'm just going to say this to you because it's how I feel. It's easier when the other
Yeah,
person's not in the room. And
yeah, that's true.
for the audience, is like when she said that about that woman, I understood what she was saying.
Yeah,
She didn't want to go that route.
yeah,
Unfortunately, someone in the room did go that route. I don't
yeah.
think it was meant to be a personal read against her, but we're watching one show. She could have said that
Yeah.
months before or months after, and it still would have come off as like a, what did she just say?
But you see, that's the funny thing. That's between the difference between a mature, grown-up person and her. I kept it shut because I actually
Yeah,
thought the same thing. That was very obvious, although she executed it perfectly, that star. But when
yeah,
you Google glam rock, the star in the eye comes up. That's the first
yeah,
picture. It comes out the star, and I almost like, oh, maybe I should do that. But I'm thinking it's so obvious. I don't want to do it. But
yeah.
the level of execution
You
was
get Kiss or you get David Bowie for glam rock.
yeah. I don't know what to do. So I started with like a zigzag, and the zigzag started to look like a butterfly. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm taking it off. And then I'm thinking, let me go funny. When I
Yeah,
think about rock, I'm thinking a drunk girl that got wasted and got all like smashed and the bruised and everything, got into a fight. So I decided to go that way. And then halfway through makeup, I'm thinking it might be a little too much, a little not the assignment. And I was right. By the time I realized it was kind of like not really the assignment, it was too late. So I'm like, "Oh, I'm just gonna be a funny queen," and I was a funny queen, and that was it. And I was thinking, it's like, you know what? They should have muted me right away without even the quick paint challenge. At least I'm
She's done.
honest about
She's
it.
done. Cut. Cut. Who, in your opinion, was your biggest competition on that show? Like, who impressed you the most and made you like go, oh,
A lot of them. I liked a lot of them. Nick Hineko's excellent paint skills, and he had great
yeah.
ideas.
They were
And
they were
also,
my favorite, other than you, Nikki.
yeah, Rihanna can be shady, but her looks, like on Instagram, I saw her Instagram, once we got on the show, and I was impressed with what she had.
Yeah,
She had a kind of a similar aesthetic, like a bright, colorful looks as
yeah.
me.
I checked out everyone's Instagram, and I thought her work on Instagram was better than what she did on the show, but that's understandable. I felt the same with you. Like, I don't think I saw your best work on the show,
No.
but I'm very familiar with what you're capable of. So I was aware that that was what was going on. So I just assumed that was the same for everybody.
Yeah, I think it just some people do better under the pressure and some not, and like
Yeah.
I guess I would it wasn't sometimes I wasn't inspired by the challenge, and that kind
Yeah.
of set me off.
How soon did you get the challenge topic? Was it the day you did the makeup, or did you know when you got all the boxes?
No, we didn't know. We couldn't open any boxes. They told us specifically not to open any boxes until the day of the episode. They give us homework assignment the night before. They would
Yeah.
email us like what time to show up and what to have on you. And then after the homework assignments taken off, they literally announce right before we have to paint. Like as you watching, that's when we found out. So we would get like 25-ish minutes to take the makeup off, get like lunch or something, and think about it. And that was it. It just have to come up just like that.
Well, I thought you did very well. Of course, my bet was that you were going to win. I'm sorry that you didn't, but you didn't disappoint me at all. I quite enjoyed you being on the show. I thought you did some great work, and
Thank you.
you certainly gave the other contestants a run for their money for sure.
Thank you. And I was thinking that TV shows like that, it's like kind of like RuPaul's Drag Race. It's not even about the winning, it's about just getting exposure on a TV show. Our show is smaller than the Drag Race, of course, but it's also about getting exposure. Even if you don't win and get into finale, you still like get as much time on TV as the others because we don't get eliminated. And that's
Yeah.
what's so good about the show, that the how Raven did it. So we all get more exposure even if you don't win. So I think we all like even level. So I'm happy with it no matter what.
I follow you on YouTube, and I quite enjoy your YouTube channel. You do not just like you do your drag looks on Friday, but you also do other products. And one of the things that I was impressed with in following you was, I think it was 2 years ago, you got chosen to be an ambassador for kimchi makeup, which was our theme today. We both used kimchi makeup. You called pink and green, and I said, well, let's push kimchi. So I quite enjoy the fact that you get some of her stuff in PR early and can talk about it.
These like my go-to, the kimchi and Trixie. This one is just amazing. It was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So those kind of things, like the glitter shards, they're really, really good.
Yeah. I have
And
her
the pink.
Hollywood skin highlighter, the kimchi Hollywood skin. That's gorgeous.
So yeah, kimchi is like one of the best things, and I'm so thankful I got on VR Squad. I still keep getting the packages, and I get to review the best things. On the best new thing that she came up with is lashes. We just talking about it. Her lashes.
Her lashes are gorgeous. Oh my god!
Yeah,
even
so some of them.
Trixie's lashes disappointed me. Look at them; they're huge. Well
Yeah,
done
it's
for
humongous.
kimchi.
There may be one pair that's not big, but most of them are huge.
But yeah, when you were showing those eyelashes with those those duo palettes, that impressed the heck out of me, because Trixie did lashes, and I was like, come on, Trixie, your lashes are 400 miles long. Now, I get that they're selling to the general public. I get it. I totally understand. But at the same time, you can get lashes from everywhere. If I'm going to buy lashes from Trixie Mattel, I want big honkers. And So good for Kim Chi, because I think she's the first drag queen to sell what I consider to be marketable drag queen lashes. Well, you got some great exposure. I mean, you first of all, you went and saw Raven perform live and were able to talk to her because you were on her show.
Yeah.
You also, Angeria has been chatting with you. You just did a video of her recreating her look. And I mean, did you notice a lot of people, like, did you notice a difference with Instagram and YouTube?
Yes, with Instagram, I think I noticed a little more exposure on Instagram since the show. And some queens reached out to me, said congratulations, like the Vivian was very nice, and I know the Blue Hydrangea knew that was on the show, and it's not like a huge difference, I would say, because it's still a small show and it's very specific, like demographics. You know, the people that watch the show, they already knew about it. Knew about me. So it's like those kind of people already in that, field. But the majority of population don't watch the Drag Race. They probably don't even know what Painted with Raven is, to be honest. Some of my friends, so like I said, Painted with Raven, they're like, what was that? Because they don't watch Wow Presents. So now some of my friends subscribe just to watch me on the show. So there you go. Wow Presents Plus got advertised through me. So yeah, but YouTube, I found like YouTube probably even worse than before, because during the show I only filmed Painted with Raven looks, and I think this is so specific that my views went down because I didn't do my usual reviews. Because I think usually reviews, like when people click on it, but Painted with Raven was like, eh. So I think it was kind of like toss up. But I'm not much about it.
Well, I have to say, one of the things that you did recently, which I found so intriguing, and I have to say, I was surprised you didn't get more people viewing it. Although I haven't checked your numbers on it, but you had eye surgery recently, but not what most people get eye surgery wise.
No, I'm gonna tell you what right now. Let me see how many views did it.
Where are you at?
So it's like almost 400 views. I actually was surprised, but because this is very, very like a narrow niche, like kind of like, the Painted with Raven. This is a very small niche. So not a lot of people interested.
Oh, but I'm surprised more people didn't tune in just to see like what? Because you had your eye color changed.
Yes. So what happened, I've been researching this for years because I've always been into light eyes, even as a kid. Like I wanted to have blue eyes, it's always been
brown eyes, yeah.
Right, me too. Well, majority of people have brown eyes. That's a thing. That's unfair. Genetics, unfair. And because I love color so much, like I'm into color. Like to me, seeing color in the mirror was a dream. And I researched the eye surgery for years. The first thing that came up a few years ago, like some celebrities got those contacts, the implants. And those implants, they insert under a cornea, and they're very invasive, very invasive. So I've seen some YouTube videos of people's eyes like literally leaking out. I mean, it's horrifying how damage you can get. You lose your vision, you lose your eyes. It's terrible. So about 80% of people that get those implants, they get them removed because it's so bad for you. And they leave a very small hole for the pupil, so you can't see out of them. So that was like a no. And of course, it's not approved. And people only do it in like third world countries. And then the second procedure was laser depigmentation, where they use low frequency laser to target the melanin in the eyes. So that one is slightly safer because it's just like it destroys the melanin. So the melanin is supposed to be reabsorbed in your body. It's kind of like a smart lipo, I guess, when they like freeze your fat cells and reabsorbs. So it's kind of similar, the burn off your brown. And then whatever you end up with, because like some people have blue, some people have green. But that one is not approved either because it can cause glaucoma and it can cause pressure, high pressure in the eye. So that's why like US will never approve that. So, and then recently, just like a few months ago, I finally found something called keratosis pigmentation, and this is like a corneal tattoo, pretty much. They go very, very superficially, open up a small hole, kind of like LASIK surgery when they do a laser correction.
Yeah.
There's a small, small hole, and they put the pigment right on top of your own iris. So it does not go deep enough to cause any changes, any pressure. So there is no harm. So they've been doing this kind of thing for people with defects, like if you have color defects to correct the color. So they've been doing that for years. And only recently they've been doing this for cosmetic reasons. There's a Russian doctor. I'm so proud of my own people. He got
Yeah.
educated. His name is Dr. Mavshovich, and he's in New York. So he's the only doctor in US that actually got trained and got the equipment to do it. And he's been ophthalmologist for years. So he does other surgeries, not just this. So he's not doing this for money. He's doing other things too. So when I saw this, I'm like, I've got to check it out. I've got to see if I can do this. And it's pretty pricey. Right now it's $12,000. When I had it done, it was 10. And there is a Groupon for one, so I got it done for 9 with a Groupon. But I was talking about this with my John, my husband, and he's like, "Well, if it's real important to you, we have a savings, like we can do it." And it's like, "Well, let's try." So I emailed them and I talked to them. They're very pleasant. Everybody was very helpful, and I felt safe. That it's very safe procedure. It's been done already. It's been approved. I'm like, why not? I'm just, what the hell? You live once. I'm gonna have blue eyes. But I went there for about 4 days. It's a very quick procedure. You go for consultation in New Jersey first. They have another office. And they do simulations, like what color looks good on you. They have a few colors available. I wanted blue, so I kind of already decided what I wanted. And then one day you get like a day off, and then the following day you get surgery in Manhattan, like right where we used to live in Midtown. It's beautiful. Like I miss New York so much. So the procedure is about 25 minutes. It's very quick. You go in, they put numbing drops. You don't feel anything at all. The only thing I saw the lights, and I saw the blue on my eye. I literally saw the pigment flowing. And it was so satisfying in a weird way to see blue. I saw blue going. He would tell me, like, go left, look right, look left, look right, up, down. So he inserted pigment. And it's like 20 minutes later, he gave me a mirror. And it's like, do you like it? Do you want to fix something? Like, they give you, like, maybe a little brighter, add a little more pigment. And I'm like, well, maybe a little more pigment. So they put more pigment. And that's it. 30 minutes later, I had blue eyes. It was amazing. It's like a miracle. Wow. I can see so well. I can see better now because I don't have stupid contacts and blurring my vision. Because contacts kind of hard. They kind of like get very irritating. And this is like
I have an astigmatism. I can't wear contacts for that long. Like I do have some, and I have worn them, but I don't wear them a lot. Like you've seen me with contacts on, but
yeah,
it's not the most comfortable for me because I have an astigmatism.
This is absolutely comfortable. Like the first night after the procedure, it burned. I'm not gonna lie and color it well. It burned. It was like almost like you couldn't look at the light and you couldn't close your eyes either. It was like painful, kind of stinging sensation. Yeah. So they gave me numbing drops. So I put numbing drops, and then they give you Tylenol PM. I took like Tylenol PM at 9:30 p.m. I'm like, that's it. I'm out. I went out like a candle. Yeah.
Well, so I have to admit this. I didn't say this to you, but I remember I was so used to seeing you in contacts that whenever you had just your brown eyes, you didn't even look like the same person to me on camera. It was always a bit of a startling thing for me because I was just so used to you having any other color. So when you said you were getting this done, like I remember I didn't hear about it until you'd had it done. Mm-hmm. And I saw that really fabulous little video you edited for Instagram that was very short and quick. And one part of me was like, oh God, like only because that's my reaction to anything with the eyes. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It wasn't a you thing. It was like oh God, what are you doing? And, but then when I saw you after with the blue, it was like, oh, that's Elaina. Like it wasn't weird. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like it made a lot of sense to me because I don't even identify you as having brown eyes.
Yeah, it's funny. Most of my friends, they think I have blue eyes. And so when I had the surgery, they thought it was I mean, it was regular as me, was my usual contact. So it kind of goes with, I mean, not with green hair, but with blonde hair that I have. It goes with any hair, and green too.
But yeah, I'm impressed. I think it's just incredibly brave of you to share that kind of a journey, because you could have said nothing and nobody would have known.
Yeah, I wanted to share because a lot of people are interested, but they're afraid and they don't know what expects them, and that's the only safe procedure. A lot of people don't even know it. They think,
Yeah.
oh, I got a lot of comments. People like, "What are you doing? This is not safe." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. This is different." They don't know about laser. They only know about laser and implants, so they think that I had that done. And you should have seen the comments I got on TikTok. I mean, no offense to TikTok, there's some really dumb people on TikTok.
No, no.
It was bad.
No, that's what the block button is for. Delete, block, delete, block. No, I have an opinion on everything because I'm a person. I have my opinion, but that's my opinion. I'm not going to stop somebody from doing what they want to do. And I'm not judging that person for what they want to do, because it doesn't affect me. It doesn't change my life. I can feel happy or sad for somebody. It's a reaction, but it has nothing to do with me.
If anybody interested in keratopigmentation, you can DM me on Instagram. I'm going to hook you up with Dr. Mafjovich. I'm like this with them. No, to be honest, I got friendly with the staff because we all speak Russian. So we all kind of got so well. And his wife and I were like buddies now, like on Instagram. We always text each other.
Well, what's next for you, Elaina? You've got blue eyes now. You've been on TV.
I'm thinking about starting my own makeup brand. And like, I'm very serious about it. And,
I think you should. You should totally.
Okay. You don't need a lot of money to start, with one palette. And I have I know people like Christina from Garmon Girls. She helped me a lot with advice already. And also Nomad Cosmetics, Felicia, she's been helping me with advice. And the only hard part for me is the legal part, because he has to start like a LLC. And that's for me, it's like mumbo jumbo. So I might have to have my husband do it for me, because he's done it for his own, like aviation, like his corporation. So he's gonna have to do the legal part for me, because I don't do paperwork. I'm an artist.
Well, if you don't put me on at least your first PR list, I'll be very upset. But I would buy your makeup brand regardless, even if it was all neutrals, which I know. What would you call it? Yeah. Oh, you don't have to tell me, because you probably want to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Elaina Glam Beauty, and keep it simple. Because people who follow you on social media are used to your social media name. And for me, it probably makes sense to name it like after my social media name.
Well, I think that if anybody should have a makeup line, it should be you. I think that you would end up teaching Trixie Mattel and Kimchi a few things. And I hope that happens for you this year. If not this year, early next year. I really I think that it's absolutely the right thing for you to do.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope so too. I need to get my butt in gear and start with that legal part. Once I pass over that legal part, this LLC.
Yeah, that legal part's easy though. Once you get somebody to do it for you, that's easy. That's the easy part. The creative part's harder. But if you need someone to ever test the makeup.
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, well, Elaina Glam, thank you so much for the chin wag. It's nice to catch up with you. You've been so busy in the last year, and there's been so much going on. And we do chat, we do message each other, but we don't get into it. And I miss you on some of the lives that you used to be on. So
yeah, I need to get back to that.
Yes.
The reason I kind of stopped because of the time difference with UK. Most of the slides are from my UK friends. And for me to get up early in the morning, do the makeup in the morning at 10 a.m., I would rather do it at 4, like we do now.
Well, whether this was your first time meeting Elaina Glam, a.k.a. Lada Deluxe, a.k.a. that woman from Painted with Raven, or you've been following Elaina forever, she is on Instagram. She is on YouTube. We've got a link there under her name, but I've also put links for her sites down in my description box. While you're down there, there are great ways to help support this channel, the best of which are to like it with a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, thanks for the chinwag, Elaina.
Thank you, Wilma. Love you.
Mwah!